Okay, I have a whole lot to unpack on placentas. I'm gonna post videos that'll go along with it, because it seems that my voice alone, in my experience, has not been believed. So that's why I am making a compilation video to show multiple people saying the same thing. I'm hoping the more voices, the more my voice will be recognized with the others. That being said, I'll post those along in this series of videos. I want to talk about my experience with my placentas, both of them that I birthed after birthing my 2 children. So, starting with Zeke, I was 18. I did the research on evidence-based birth. Well, I did the research on physiological birth, and I actually, after I had him, it took me a few years to realize I had birth trauma, and I didn't know as much as I thought I knew. I had a birth plan, I wrote it up, I gave it to them, they kind of just dismissed everything I wanted. I didn't have quite as strong a voice as I do now when it comes to advocating for myself in the medical system. I thought it would be simple. I learned about physiological birth, and I learned more come later. So getting back to the placenta, I did write my birth plan that I would like to keep it and put it on ice. I had a friend, is actually my sponsor in NA. She and her friend capsulated my placenta. So what happens? After I had my baby, I birthed him on my hands and knees on the hospital bed. I have lots of other videos where I'm telling the story, and I actually had a pause like 2 years ago on talking about it, because that's when like all the birth trauma hit, and I was like, oh my god, that's so messed up, like everything that happened. Like, and now knowing what I know, I realized what actually was wrong and why I had such like weird feelings, even though I was in we'll get to that in another time. But after I had him, I flipped over on my back and they put him on my chest, and they kept trying to like wipe him all off. I was like, no, don't wipe him, like don't bathe him, and like he needs the vernix and stuff. Anyways, so just lots of like telling them, no, don't do that, that's so unnecessary and not actually helpful. Anyways, but like I wanted to do, what is it called? We delayed cord clamping, because I wanted all of the blood from the placenta to get to my baby, and there's no such thing as, oh, that's just cord blood. I wanted to wait until the cord was completely white. It was not. It had been about 30 minutes of him on my chest, and he started breastfeeding. Babies have this really cool thing, they can smell you and your pheromones, and if you lay baby right here, baby will slowly push and inch their way up to breast and latch on naturally. That is, if things that can prevent that from happening, or if you have an epidural, Pitocin, that kind of thing can affect the outcome of that being able to happen. But luckily I didn't have epidural, I did have Pitocin. I didn't realize all the risks that would have. We'll get into another video about Pitocin, but anyways, and so he had been on my chest for about 30 minutes, and they're like, well, we need to cut the cord, it's all gone. And I'm like, but it's not white yet. And anyways, I didn't really argue, I was tired, I had enough of just arguing my point. And so I was like, okay. So his dad cut the cord, and they clamped it off and everything, and then my friend, my sponsor, had a trying to think, like a little lunchbox, like a little mini cooler with ice in it, and they put it on ice, and then my sponsor took it away. And at home, in her home, she had a dehydrator. She dehydrated it, broke it down into like a powder form, and then encapsulated it in little red capsules that you can buy online in like this little pill. I'm getting a phone call, hold on. Damn spam colors. Okay, anyways, back to the thing. So my sponsor and her friend who knew about dehydrating the placenta and putting it in capsules, I wasn't there to see the process. I got sent a couple pictures while it was happening. It took a couple, or like, I don't know, it was like a week before, probably about 2 weeks before I got them back. And so I took 4 capsules a day, and that is supposed to help with postpartum depression, which I had a lot of. And at this point in my life, I was not very good at continuing taking like my other pills, like my psych meds. I was 18. I had struggled with like the idea of taking pills every day, like I had as a teenager, because I had to take so many psych meds all the time. And I forgot often. So I did not stay with the regimen of taking the placenta pills consistently, but I do think it did make a difference. And so I still had, it made a lot. I had like 2 little jars full of it, like jelly jars this big or so, like, you know, a jelly jar. And I still have some of those capsules. So precious to me. I did return most of them in this last couple of years as I learned more about placenta and got more into birth in its natural state of form. I returned a lot of them to the earth and made it a blessing, thanking my higher power for, you know, the gift of my child. And now I have still a few left, only enough for until he's about 21. So every year on his birthday, I bury 1 little placenta capsule into the ground and say thank you for my children. It is an offering to my guides, my ancestors, my God, gods, however you want to see it. It is kind of a gratitude ritual that I do now. I will post I'll make another video, or I'll probably just find a video that talks about the benefits of consuming your placenta. There are other ways to consume it. You can make it in a meal. You can put it in a smoothie. There's all kinds of things you can do, but I wasn't really trying to be a chef with the placenta thing, so I just found it more easier to take in a capsule. So, and then with my daughter, follow for part 2, and I'll post, because I had a home birth with my daughter. And, you know, with my son, I was like, I want a home birth, or I want to go to a birth center, but the only birth center that they had that was covered under Medicaid was 2 hours away, and that just wasn't doable for me at the time. I also was still, like, scared. I was like, oh, well, like, maybe my second birth I'll be at home. I wanted my first birth to be in hospital just in case. Now, looking back on it, I could have done it without the hospital. I think I would have had a better birth outcome if I would have just stayed out of the hospital, but that's another topic I get into in a video that I recorded like years ago. So I have been making content on this subject. It's my passion topic, but I've been holding back on it. There's a lot of videos that I make about this that will get taken down for social media guidelines, that kind of thing. So I have been saving this content for my Patreon. It is not up and running. It is still in the works. Lots of work I've been doing there, on and off. So there will be lots more information on that on my Patreon when I'm ready to launch that. So anyways, follow for part 2. I'll talk about the placenta situation at my home birth, because honestly I like that one a little more. Kind of. There was some little things that I was still uncomfy about, but either way, I am so happy with my birth outcome with my son and my daughter, and I'm excited to have another 3rd chance to do it again, and 3 times better than the last 2. You know, it's like it gets easier with every birth, and you learn more every time, and you know, it's like practice. So yeah, okay.